Hi everybody, Larry Kotch here from The Brains and host of Brainy Marketing. Today I'm bringing you a video on marketing automation. Now, I did a video on this before, but I got such a good response to the latest interview video I did with Malcolm Ghallager. Now, for those of you who don't know, Malcolm Ghallager runs one of the biggest B2B podcast shows called Biz Vision. And I was on his channel, Meet the Leader, a few weeks ago. And that format really appealed to people because it's another business owner just asking really simple questions and wanting simple speak responses, to the questions. So I think this format is going to be really helpful if you're still not quite sure what marketing automation is, what value it has to you, whether it is good for B2B or for B2C, how long it takes to set up, what tools you should be using, and the 3 key benefits it's going to drive in your company. Then make sure you watch this interview. It's about 8-9 minutes long, and it's going to give you everything you need to know in simple layman's terms in English language. It's going to tell you how it all works. As ever, if you find this content interesting, if you're interested in lead generation and all things automation, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the little bell icon right next to it. That way you'll always get my new videos as they come out. And I put a lot of effort into these videos, guys, so a like would be really appreciated so that the YouTube overlords can give me some love as well and help me promote this to other people. If you are very serious about taking your lead generation to the next level, then make sure you download my highly sought after Leads on Tap system, which is developed in-house. I think you're going to really get a lot of value out of it. And the link to that is in the description box of this video below. So without further ado, let's go ahead and speak to Malcolm. Let's roll the tape.
Read or watch any strategic marketing piece, and the conversation is mostly about the value of efficient marketing automation. But those pieces are usually addressed at marketing professionals. To many, marketing automation simply sounds like the robots are taking over. The truth is far from that. It's all about your marketing being more effective, more efficient, more economic. So I wanted to help you see what it is and how it works. And to do that, I couldn't think of a better person to interview than the CEO of The Brains Marketing, Larry Kotch. Nice to see you again, Larry.
Hey, Malcolm. Great to be back on your show.
Okay, thank you. Larry, when you were a guest on the Meet the Leader show, you touched on marketing automation, which I know is a specialism you distinctly offer clients. So what is marketing automation in simple speak, please?
Yes, simple speak is the name of the game here. So at its core, marketing automation describes the software that one would use to automate very repetitive marketing and even sales communications. So it has started off as kind of email marketing. A lot of people may be aware of MailChimp and other tools like this. Very basic, more on the automating of regular emails to your customer lists or to prospect lists, and has evolved to become very encompassing and now bolted on or the same or synonymous with CRMs. So most CRMs or customer databases that most businesses have at some level are now powered by marketing automation. So the idea is that you collect all the data about your potential and existing customers in one place, and then you use that information to send off automated emails, automated ads, automated social media posts. So you don't have to run around every week thinking, what should I do this week for everyone? Let me write this today. It's kind of pre-done, preloaded, and sent out to the right people at the right time, who would receive the message the best. So yeah, I think that's at its core, if that makes sense.
Yeah, superb. So what's the value that a business can get from applying marketing automation? Can it run alongside traditional marketing as an ancillary, or does it have to be solo?
Yeah, so there's a few questions there. You actually alluded to the first part in your opening bit there. It's all about efficiency of the marketer's time, but also the salespeople's time as well, in the sense that because marketing automation is plugged into, at least these days, your analytics, your website, your forms on your website, your email accounts, absolutely everything is plugged into it. It means that you can work out what people are doing or the system, let's say, can work out who's a hot lead and who's not, which is very valuable for a lot of sales teams. So people forget that it's actually a very good thing for the sales teams in order of prioritizing what the good prospects and leads are, because you can see who's opening emails, who's going to revisit websites, who's downloading ebooks. All of that the system knows what's going on and can prioritize and rank people in your database. So that's a massive saving of time. Rather than calling around every lead or prospect that's in the database, you can really get the best use out of your biz dev team. And then for marketers, it means not having to constantly reinvent the wheel each week. You know that there's always some piece of content going out to different segments of your audience every week without you having to check. It doesn't stop you from doing manual stuff, but it means that at least you're top of mind every week, which is half the battle in marketing, is constantly being there with good, helpful, educational, or conversion content that is making your prospects more likely to become a hot lead or to get in touch with you. So it makes advertising cheaper because you've now got all this email stuff going on in the background, all this automated stuff going on in the background. It means that all the money you're spending on advertising, those leads aren't just going into the bin. Once you phone them, they don't pick up a few times, then the lead is dead. Now you've got this constant automated nurturing that's tailored to them and their interests going on for perhaps many years, eventually bringing somebody back to your company. So you're going to get more bang out of your leads, more efficient marketing, maybe even reduce your marketing overhead if you have to, and more efficient sales team. So I think it can work. Where the second bit of your question, the traditional piece, yes, it can work with traditional marketing, but you have to have, at some point, the person has to enter your database in order for the software to triage the person and send them messages. So let's say you're at a trade show. Rather than collecting business cards, you might have an iPad there, which has a form that they have to fill out just quickly on an iPad. I've seen this at a lot of trade shows. You probably see this. Put in some data there, so at least they're going into the right database, and they can come into the database tagged as, trade show ABC lead. So then you can have specific follow-up content for people that came from the trade show, or just enroll them on the other workflows you've got for your general automation. So yes, traditional can fit in, but the key is how do you get them from print or other advertising. Eventually they have to come to a website at some point, and eventually they have to fill out a form or do something that gets them into the database. So as long as that's going on, and there's a way that you can track the original source, ideally, you're going to get better results. So yeah, it can work with everything as long as the database is your core that you're pushing everyone to.
Okay, well, let's talk about type of companies. Can it work equally well for B2B, business to business, and B2C, business to consumer companies? Where's the difference, key differences in the results?
Yeah, good question. So B2B is generally more of an educational thing. So B2B versus B2C. And I'm going to lump into B2B here high value B2C. So really considered purchases like maybe expensive courses, education, insurance, luxury items. These are considered purchases where you may have a salesperson involved. So anything that's like a considered complex purchase, the automation is usually done to keep nurturing people with more educational content. So if somebody downloads a lead magnet or an ebook somewhere on your website, you want to keep more educational stuff coming to them so that they understand what it is that you do. Then they start seeing case studies and testimonials, and eventually they're asked to get in touch. So that's kind of more the B2B complex approach. B2C is more around timing the correct offers to people. Let's say somebody's bought something off your website for the first time. They need to get welcome emails, first time discounts. If somebody's abandoned a basket on your website, you can automate automated abandonment recovery email series. So it says, oh, you were looking at these products on our site, you didn't buy them, how about another 10% off if you come back right now? So it's more around automating. On B2C, there's no human involved necessarily in phone calls. It's more about automating the squeezing of as much juice out of every person that has abandoned a cart or has become a customer for the first time. It's Excellent. Just all automating more. from them. Yeah.
Yeah. So how at the Brains Marketing do you go about applying it for a client? So give me a typical workflow.
Yeah. So you first have to work out it's one component of three things. So you've got the advertising side. So obviously you have to advertise something to people. That ad needs to be something that gets people into your database as quickly as possible. So we usually refer to that as a lead magnet. So an ebook or webinar or something to grab people's data from. We typically work with B2B or high value B2C. So we're much more on the educational side. So you've got to then segment your audience by job title, geography, type of company, size of company, however it makes sense for you. So there's workshops to go through all of that. Create the content that would align to each of those segments to convince them to become a red hot lead or a prospect. And then you've got your lead magnet, which gets them into the database in the first part. So you run your ads with the lead magnet, person converts, goes into the database, marked by their segment or persona. So we know that they are this segment of our market, and they then get drip fed emails. They then see retargeting ads based on who they are, and so they get the right emails, right ads at the same time. And then we will also look with clients at what classifies a hot lead. Is it reading emails? Is it viewing pages on websites? And there's basically logic that you have to build, which is actually very simple to do. But in most of these marketing automation tools like HubSpot, you have to define the logic, which is basically conditional logic. Like if this happens, then that. So if somebody reads an email, then send them this other email. If somebody goes onto this page, then they're interested in this, so send them this email. So it's all about creating those rules once you've understood who the audience is, what content is going to appeal to them, then how you should send that to them over the course of several months, and how you make their sales team aware of the hot leads.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a business, well, let's hope more than one, watching today who says, I think that's for me. How long will it take to get it working for them? And what's the average time for results?
Yeah. So it's also, again, about the three pieces I mentioned there, the advertising, the automation, and the content. If you are ready with the other two, if you're already doing online advertising quite extensively, if you already have a lot of content, then setting up the automation and shouldn't take long, in the order of a couple weeks maximum, in terms of setting up the technical stuff. Now, if it means you're having to move to a new CRM that's automation powered, and maybe your sales team aren't familiar with that CRM, then they have to learn how all the new flows work. There'll be teething problems. You'll have to try and you'll definitely edit things as the kind of chips fall down. You'll see what is working better or not for the sales team practically. And so I would say give it a month if you've got all the other pieces ready. Seems about right, a month to 6 weeks. And if you've got none of the content, let's say you haven't really been doing much online advertising, then you've got a bigger task of actually sorting all of that out, because the automation is there to amplify and massively boost the results that you're getting from an online advertising campaign. It's not a standalone thing. If you've got nobody coming to your database anyway, then there's nobody to send emails to or to retarget. So it has to go in conjunction with decent scale at online advertising. And in that case, if you're starting from scratch, then 3 months is usually how long we would give it, because you've got to get the rest of the pieces working. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, Larry, can you finish with 3 key benefits that any business thinking of marketing automation needs to remember or keep top of head?
Yeah, I'd say better sales time, like sales enablement, I would guess is the buzzword that people use. So sales enablement, very awesome. Reducing marketing cost per acquisition, because every lead you're generating is getting so much follow-up that they're more useful to you. So the cost per acquisition should ultimately go down, which is always a good thing. And saving time for marketers. So potentially even meaning you need less marketers, or one marketer your existing marketer can do a whole lot more than you thought that they ever could before. So yeah.
Larry Kotch, thanks for brilliantly explaining marketing automation. It's here now and it can be working for your business. And Larry's website address is behind me. Thanks, Larry.
No problem. Cheers. Anytime.